Ah, there we are. Look at that. A screen full of
Ah,
CFL legends. And me.
yeah, double talk, double D. What's up,
What's up, man? How you doing?
man? Enjoying this weather behind me.
I see.
All right. Darian Durant, Charleston Hughes, you guys played in the league at the same time, but you never played on the same. You were never riders at the same time, correct?
No,
What was it? The crossover.
Yeah,
Charleston.
I got shipped out of town before Charleston got there.
yeah, I was about to say, man, I didn't come to the Riders till like 2017. That's when I joined with Saskatchewan.
Okay. I think Colson did this. It wasn't me. I'm not bringing this up. Apparently, Darian was the second most sacked quarterback by Charleston Hughes. You got him 15 times, but you got Mike Riley 18. All right. So this is Colson that brought up these stats, not me. I got nothing to say here.
Yeah, man, he's been digging deep for that stuff, dude.
Probably should have been about 25. I know I got up out about 10 of them too.
Oh yeah, he definitely, man. He was one of the hardest quarterbacks to bring down in the league, and that was well known amongst all D linemen.
Let's go back to that time when the Riders were playing really good football and the Stampeders were playing really good football. Charleston, we'll go to you first. I know that a lot of people want to make that the Rider-Bomber rivalry. Yes, there is that. But in those late 2000s and the mids, the Riders and Stampeders, there was some serious hate there because those were not missed games. Charleston, what do you remember about those Rider teams with Durant around that time? What made them so good?
Man, and especially around that time, man, because that's when they were rocking with a lot of Canadian receivers at the time, and they were doing this Canadian Air Canada with all the receivers that they had over there, man, and it was all receivers that can play. And at that time, you got to think Saskatchewan and Calgary were the two elite teams in the league, and really wasn't nobody else really competing, at a high level and had a team that was talented, from top to bottom. It's hard to have and doing it well in all three phases of the game on offense, defense, and special teams. So we knew that it was going to be a battle and a showdown every time we went to Saskatchewan or they came to us. So yeah, it became a rival around that time, man, because it's just what it was.
So Darian, what do you remember about that time in those games? Because that was for me, those are some of the best CFL memories I have of that era of football.
Yeah, absolutely. We both were, like you said, we both had relative rosters. I mean, a lot of people talk about what we had offensively, but defensively, we had some guys that could fly around, make plays as well. So I think it was just, two big time teams. And it seems like every time we played those guys, it was always something on the line, whether it be, fighting for home field advantage in the playoffs or bragging rights, of course, because a lot of those guys were familiar with the guys on our team. So every single time we faced those guys, man, it was just something on the line, and it was a big time environment for sure.
Is that missing a little bit in the league nowadays? Do you think those rivalries will ever be as intense as it was back then? Fans and players?
Man, I don't think so for sure, man, just because of, the type of players that were in the league at the time. The league is kind of missing those players who are like more veteran style players in the league and kind of know the game. The league has kind of shifted a little bit where they got a lot of young players in the league and, they're still trying to figure out, their way in the CFL.
And also
Darian,
these 1 year
contracts.
Way? Yeah, these 1 year contracts, you don't have the type of continuity in these teams like we had and Calgary did back then. I mean, it was easy to see 5 or 6, 7 or 8 year veterans on each squad back then. I mean, guys who were in the communities, guys who, made sure that they didn't just leave for the money. They wanted to be a good team and stay, where they made their name. So I don't think you see much of that these days. Guys are quick to, sign a 1 year deal and get out of town. Whereas back when we were going at it, guys locked in for 2, 3, 4 years at a time.
Like, there was no way after Chris Getzlaff makes that beautiful catch at McMahon Stadium, there was no way in the offseason he was going to leave and sign as a free agent to become a Stampeder. Whereas now, like you had said, Charleston, were you on the field for that play when Getzlaff caught that touchdown from Durant? That was a beautiful play.
I was mad about it. Yeah. You know how many times I came to the sideline mad at that, you know, we should have been made to tackle and tackled him in the backfield. And next thing I know, he's going for like 40, 50 yards. And I'm looking like from the defensive line standpoint, it's aggravating. It definitely is.
Darian, what's it like staring down a Jawan Simpson who's coming downhill at about 1,000,000 miles an hour trying to take your head off as part of that Stampeder defense back then?
Man, you know, Jawan was a baller, man. I mean, that whole defense and the thing they were smart. Those guys read keys. They talked to you at the line of scrimmage. They knew the splits of the offensive linemen.
What?
They actually knew my stance. They knew if it was a run or pass based on, you know, my stance. Sometimes I learned that later on in my career that they were, you know, looking at tips like that. But man, I mean, playing against Charleston and those guys, they were very vocal.
Hey, who told you that?
You know, I found that out later. You know, I can't tell on my boy. Yeah, I mean, just those guys, they were so super smart. They knew what was going on. And that's what made Charleston so good, man. He wasn't just a pass rusher. He knew exactly what the offense was trying to do to attack him. And, you know, he was one of the best players because he knew what was going on. Smart guy.
So the Calgary Stampeders were the Houston Astros of the CFL. They were stealing signs on our Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Come on, Charleston.
No.
Okay, here's your chance to come clean.
No.
All right. So did you guys have the no and the tell? I mean, you stopped playing a long time ago. We're all friends. You can be honest. Did you have a little inside information?
Say that football is a game of competitive advantages. And how you get those competitive advantages, you know, gives you the upper hand and increases your percentages on winning the game. Now, me personally, I took it upon myself to know the offensive lineman that I'm facing and the quarterback that I'm facing. So I knew personally how deep this quarterback drops. You know, in certain situations, I knew where the landing point was for that. I knew if one foot was forward, one foot was back. If the right foot's forward, it's probably a run. If his feet are even, then I'm pretty sure they're probably passing. I knew everything, every step of the way, from an offensive lineman having his heel down on the ground to having his heel up off the ground, whether it was run or pass. I listened to snap counts. I listened to, you know, verbal language between the O-linemen. I mean, I play TV copies and I rewind over and over on TV copies, listening to the cadence of the quarterback to gauge my get off from the line of scrimmage. Like, I took into account trying to find any competitive advantage, period, that I would have.
Darian, do you think that kind of work, like what he just said to me, which I'm like, wow, that seems intense. Do you think that kind of work is being put in nowadays by guys in the league, that attention to detail?
I don't think so. Not at all. I mean, like I said, these guys, first of all, they're not in one place long enough with the same coach. You know, first of all, you have to be taught how to watch film. You have to be taught how to look for tendencies, how to break down film. And if guys are switching from defensive coordinator to defensive coordinator, you can't get a bead on this team. You know, when we played Charleston and Calgary, we played each other 3-4 times a year. Well, if I'm in Saskatchewan this year and I'm in Hamilton next year and I have to now play Montreal 4 times, you know, it kind of, you know, switches up the advantages that you can get. So whenever you can, you know, hone in, especially when you're playing against a team so many times and the games are always going to come down to one play here or there, or who had, like Charleston said, competitive advantage. You know, guys just don't have that time these days to put in that type of work.
Yeah, especially in the NFL, man. You got to think that a lot of stuff is passed down from generation, right? So when you got a bunch of older players that, you know, are before you, you kind of learn from those guys that kind of pass the information down. I mean, before I retired, I tried to pass as much knowledge as I could to as many guys that I played with, to give them the competitive advantage, give them the blueprint of, you know, how I, you know, paved the way in my career. Because I didn't have nobody to really teach me. I had to kind of figure it out and learn it over time and watch other guys like the Cam Wakes and the Phillip Hunts and the guys like that. I had to watch these guys and kind of see what are they doing, what are they reading, how are they figuring this out. So it took a lot of film study for me to kind of figure out, I see what they're seeing now.
Let's go to the games on the weekend. This is Double Talk with Darian Durant. Charleston Hughes is joining us on this special edition today. BC goes to Hamilton, and they end up winning in overtime. And it was unfortunate. Tim White fumbles, and then the Lions kick the field goal. I like the fight in BC, and I like the fight in Hamilton. Do you think that this win, Darian, can maybe get BC pointed in the right direction? Because Nathan Rourke, he was balling out there. You could tell that the game it's like it meant something to him.
We'll see. I mean, I think we're still trying to figure out who BC really is. I mean, a couple weeks ago, they went to Montreal and won late in the game, and we thought, okay, here they are. They're going to turn the corner, and then, they suffer a couple losses from there. So I think the homework still needs to be done on BC. We don't know who they are yet, but I think this is a huge win. Whenever you have to compete with Winnipeg and Calgary and Saskatchewan out west, you have to get as many wins as you can. So kudos to BC for getting a big win on the road, but I'm still not ready to say what they are because I just don't know yet.
Charleston, are you buying BC stock
right now? Huh?
Are you buying BC Lions stock at this point of the season, or are you in a waiting pattern too?
No way, man. You got to wait it out. Nah, man, I wouldn't put none of my eggs in that basket.
And then Friday night, Cody Fajardo and the Edmonton Elks go into Montreal. Last minute drive, they go down and win. Whether you think it's pretty or not, or it doesn't follow the right sort of path, Cody's a gamer, and Cody does what Cody does, and he kind of did his thing. I was happy to see that they got the win. He has made the Elks, I know they're only 2-6 or 2-7, but he's made them competitive again, right? Like they have to be taken seriously with him at quarterback.
Yeah, man. I think they have to, especially because Cody is in an interesting position that I think he's been in multiple times with multiple teams where he's not placed as the guy, and then he ended up being put in there as a savior, and then where you think the Jesus sprinkles came from? And he comes in and he does best, man. And that's just, I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to compete and make stuff happen. And that's just what he's doing. He's been in this position before, like multiple times, and you can rely on him to be great, really.
Darian,
steady,
you had this
man,
before.
Steady.
Yeah.
That's the word I like to use for Cody.
Okay. Steady? What did you like about steady. His game on Friday?
He's just steady. I mean, he's not going to hurt you. He's going to use his legs when he needs to. He's going to complete the tough pass. And in the fourth quarter, he's going to have you in a position for a game-winning drive. I mean, he's not going to wow you. There's nothing, overly, especially, athletically with him. But I just always putting the team in position. He's making the plays when they present themselves. And, he's given this Edmonton team some life. I mean, I think with Trey Ford at quarterback, you know what you're going to get. There'll be a spectacular play here or there, but they could just never hang around because he wasn't consistent enough in the pass game. And Cody is just giving this team, whenever you believe as his teammates, he picks up the game of everyone around him. And they believe in Cody because they know he's the Grey Cup champ. And this team is playing like it.
Charleston, what does that do for you as a defender when there's a quarterback change like this and you got a guy that can ball a little bit? Just what does that do to the spirits of the defense?
I mean, really, you got to change up your game plan. Like, I would never go into a game playing against a player like that and not know exactly how I'm going to attack this guy and, kind of diffuse what he does best. I would just never put myself in that position. I wouldn't even if I was coaching a defensive line, I would let them know right off the bat, like, look, this is what we're going to get. we're going to get a player who really doesn't have a lot to lose. He's going to play his best game like he's going into a Grey Cup winning championship game, and he's going to play like that every game. So when it comes down to it, he's going to use his legs, like Double D said. He's going to throw good passes. He's marching the ball downfield. He's doing his best not to make mistakes. He's not trying to turn the ball over. I mean, you really got to be patient and attack this guy the right way.
Ottawa and Toronto, and Darian, when we chatted last week, we kind of had no idea what may happen in this football game because they were kind of erratic at best at times. You saw a shootout, 46-42. Ryan Dinwiddie said there was it passengers this week on the squad or whatever. It was exciting football, but if you watched, it was a little frustrating too because the same mistakes were happening and on both sides of the ball for both teams, and Ottawa ends up coming out with a win.
If you're a defensive guy, you're frustrated. I mean, but as an offensive guy, whenever you could, complete 80% of your passes, almost 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Speaking of Drew Brown, it's a hell of an offensive day. So I didn't think that we'd see a shootout like this. I thought, Toronto had enough to beat Ottawa, but with the mistakes, like you said, you just can't make those mistakes. And we all know Dinwiddie, he's pissed off about that, and he's letting the guys know, all this week about all those mistakes. But, kudos to Ottawa for going in there and getting a big win.
Charleston, you had them down 22-1 in the first quarter.
Turning red, yelling and cussing, like...
Oh, yeah, the Argonauts, if you missed it, they were up 22-1. What was it in the second quarter? And I thought, well, this game's over. So I went and did some stuff around the house, and I came back in the third quarter, and I'm like, whoa, this game is this is not over. This is actually a game again. I mean, as a defense at times, Charleston, do you throw up your hands and go, I don't know what to do? Because whatever we're doing, it's not working. It's frustrating.
Hey, man, I don't know. Like I said, I've never been that guy. You got to try to do what you can. And if the chip's not falling in your favor, man, you got to figure out what I need to do different to have an impact in the game. Cream always rise to the top, man. The best players, that's when you see, who your guys are in times like that.
All right, it's a special edition of Double Talk. It's Darian Durant and Charleston Hughes today for Campbell Safety Consulting. Guys, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We'll talk about the Jake Herslow hurdle. We'll also talk about the Stamps and the Bombers, and then the Riders and Ticats this week as Hamilton comes to town, the best team in the East Division. This is Double Talk on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM. Monday edition of Double Talk for Campbell Safety Consulting. Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant, as always, and Saskatchewan Roughrider and Calgary Stampede. He's a CFL legend. Don't believe the stats on Wikipedia. Charleston Hughes joins us. Charleston, the last time we had you on, you said you were going to SeaWorld on vacation with the family. Did you make it to SeaWorld, and how was it?
I didn't make it.
What?
Yeah, man, I diverted on a different road trip. So I'm in Wheatling, Wyoming right now.
And what are you doing there?
Yeah, I went in the complete opposite direction of where SeaWorld was. I'm actually heading to Casper, Wyoming.
Okay. Little work trip?
Yep. On a little work trip. Probably go hang out in the mountains for a little bit. Go chase some bears, chase some elk, try to take down an elk, all that good stuff.
Nice.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing nobody from PETA is listening to the show right now when you just said that. On Saturday, with Vernon Adams Jr. healthy and then Zach Calero starting for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I'm like, all right, this hopefully should be the game of the week. And it didn't disappoint. Darian, he's my choice for the MOP at this point of the season. Big play VA, coming back, looking good, doing all the things that big play VA does. If anything, he's a calming presence. He's instilled confidence in that young Stampeder team, right?
Absolutely. I mean, they believe in him. And, we saw what PJ Walker played a couple weeks ago. I mean, VA has to be healthy. He's pretty much this team's only hope. So, he's been steady all season, barring injury. Like I said, I think he's one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league. He's playing like it, and a big time game winning drive for him to get to get it done against a tough Winnipeg team who came in there and it started off pretty hot. So kudos to VA for getting it done.
Charleston Bombers, Stamps, you've said that the Bombers are inconsistent. They're 4-4. They had their flashes in that game, but at times they played well in Calgary. That was just a good football game.
It was a good football game to watch, man, but same thing I've been saying all year, man. Like, Winnipeg is just super inconsistent right now, man. They show flashes, but they don't show the resilience, the team that's, a tough winning team like they normally are throughout the years. And just Calgary's just playing good, man. It's just VA. Yeah, if VA ain't in the game, then Calgary's going to have a struggle. So they better keep him healthy all year if they want to make it to the big game.
Huff, if you're listening, we're sorry. We didn't mean to pick you last in the preseason polls.
It's still early. It's still early, man. I wouldn't write that off yet. Hey, don't start writing them off too early. It's early, man.
I know. The laugh, if you're just listening on the radio and you're not watching the stream, the laugh is Charleston Hughes, Darian Durant. This is Double Talk for Campbell Safety Consulting. All right. So the Riders are 7-1 and they had the bye week. The West has still got some dog and some fight in them. I don't think we're going 17-1 after what we saw this past week. Hamilton comes to town this week. Darian, Bo Levi, well, because we'll get to Charleston in a sec because he played with Bo Levi. But Bo Levi is a more mature, does he have more tools or more bullets in the gun these days than he did before when he was just a gunslinger?
I mean, with knowledge comes, definitely he's being a lot smarter. I mean, you look at last year, he started off, throwing tons of picks. He wasn't doing well. And this year, he started off a little bit slow, and so did the Tiger Cats, but he's just picked it up. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's not forcing the ball downfield, and having Kenny Lawler out there to make those 50-50 catches, it gives Bo a weapon that no one in the league has. So, he's doing a great job of taking what the defense gives him. And, look, this is Bo. Bo's going to be consistent. He's going to get completions. As long as he doesn't throw the ball to the other team or they, make him scramble and do something he doesn't like, he's going to sit back and do a part.
Now, Charleston, you saw a young Bovi come into this league when he was just all gunslinger and, walking the walk. Now that you see him and what he's evolved into, because you were there at the start and you're seeing it now, he's reinvented himself, hasn't he?
He's definitely reinvented himself, man. And the thing is Bo Levi is a great football player, man. He's smart. He's been around. He knows the game. You can intend on him being at his best at all given times when he's out there playing, any team in the top of the league. And he's kind of the opposite of Cody when it comes down to it, where now Bo Levi, he knows who he is when he's going into that game. He knows that, the W for a team relies on him, and he has to play his best all the time. And I think he likes playing with that chip on his shoulder. So the thing is you're going to get his best every game.
So, Darian, let's say Scott Milanovic phones you tomorrow and says, all right, Riders on Saturday. Darian, how do we beat this Rider club that's 7-1 that's pretty good defensively? Where are the weaknesses or the holes for the Riders on defense?
Well, the Riders play a bend but don't break style defense in the secondary. And, sometimes playing against a quarterback like Bo, he's going to take what the defense gives you. He's not going to make those mistakes down the field. Sometimes, the softer you play right into the hands of a quarterback, especially the way Bo is playing right now. So, I think if you're Hamilton and you're Bo Levi, you just come in, you take the underneath completions, you make Saskatchewan come up in second and medium, second and short situations, get your one-on-ones down the field with some of these big-time receivers that they have. So, the key is basically first down for Hamilton. If you can put yourself in second and medium or second and short, then you give yourself an opportunity to go against a Rider secondary that has given up a lot of yards this year.
Charleston, how frustrating is it? You can't get to Trevor Harris because he's getting the ball out in 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 seconds. What do you do to disrupt that? Because sooner or later, it is, man. You're going to put your hands on your hips and be like, this isn't working. What do you got to do?
It's tough, man, and it gets frustrating for a defensive line, especially because I played against the Anthony Calvin VOs that get the ball out quick, and they're throwing short, range passes all the time. And when you're playing against a quarterback like that, I think I've won a Grey Cup just not pass rushing and just standing at the line of scrimmage and knocking the ball down. Um, you got to try to do what you can to affect the game. And if not pass rushing and just trying to get the ball out of his hand and knock passes down is what, contributes to winning the game, is just what you got to do to sacrifice. When you're playing against a guy like Trevor Harris, you got a game plan. You can't just think that you're going to blitz and then the blitz is going to get there. You got to think that, train your guys to blitz and be prepared to get their hands up to knock the ball down. You got to do different stuff to kind of have an effect in the game.
Darian, sometimes when everyone's telling you how great you are, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are 7-1. Is that sometimes not the best thing? Because I mean, there's the wave of emotion or whatever, and when we've won, and we've been dominant, and things are going well. In the locker room, though, are there guys keeping it real? Knowing, hey, listen, nothing's happened yet. It's August. This doesn't really mean anything. It's not even Labor Day yet.
For sure, you better. I mean, this is the West. I mean, you look at Calgary, you still have to go through Winnipeg, and the Riders have to go to Winnipeg twice. It's not easy to win in that building. So I think this is a must-win for the Riders. They have to beat Hamilton, because going into Calgary next week and then playing Winnipeg back-to-back, you have to look at it as, you're going to lose one of those games, possibly two huge road games in the West. So whenever you're in the West, I don't care what your record is, you should never think that you've got it in the bag. You just never know, man. Anybody can get hot. The weather can change. Anything can happen.
I agree. People are saying, well, the Bombers are 4-4, but the Bombers are a dangerous 4-4 because at any time they can go off and they can win, because as part of their inconsistency, when they win, they look good, and when they lose, they don't necessarily look good. Charleston, were you that guy in the locker room that had to keep everybody even keel? Telling them, listen, you know what? We got a job to do. Stop reading your press clippings, because you were played on some pretty good teams that had some pretty good records that didn't always win the Grey Cup.
Not really, man, because like I said, we had a lot of veteran players. So when you got a lot of veteran players on the team, they know what to do and what to look for. So when it's an individual battle like that, you try to lead by example on the field. I know that's how I kind of went at the game, is just play hard and do your job. Do your part to win the game and let the chips fall where they lay.
Is there one thing that the Riders don't have yet, Darian, or one thing that you want to see, or if this is part 2 of the season, what do the Riders have to do more of or do better in your eyes to be like, all right, to go from a team that's had a good start to be a team that's consistent, and then consistent turns into dominant?
You got to win the big games. You have to win the games, against especially teams with winning records. I mean, it's one thing to beat up on the bottom half of the league, but these key games, especially on the road that are coming up against teams with winning records, those are the games you have to win before you can really look at yourself as, I've made it, or to consider yourself a really good team. Calgary went into Mosaic and won. So I think Calgary has the Riders' number there, and then the Riders have to go to Calgary next week, and we'll see where they are. But when you look at the Labor Day matchup with Winnipeg, I think you have to just mark that down as a split, and then you have to look at the other games as must win.
Charleston, you played in the new, what they calling it, Princess Auto Stadium and stuff in Winnipeg. How hard is it to play there when it's sold out?
It's hard, man. It's loud in that stadium, man, and the fans really get riled up and into it. And the thing is when Winnipeg makes a play and they get going, like, it's tough. Like, it's tough to play in that stadium. That's probably one of the hardest plays I've ever had to play in, besides being in Calgary and playing in Saskatchewan at old Mosaic. But yeah, man, it's tough.
Now that you guys are out of the league and you can look back, and it's funny, as time goes by, maybe you forget some of the bad stuff, and now that Darian, it wasn't pretty, but how awesome was Taylor Field? as like a bit of a dump, but your memory, because when you think about it, because when I think back on, man, there was some good times in those stands. Not everything was legit or legal, but man, there was some good stuff there. Because I mean, there's a lot of new stadiums and it's changed now. When you look back on your Taylor Field memories, is it just a smile?
That's it. I mean, it's just true football environment. I mean, you're not worried about all the beauty of the stadium, or
Beauty.
the size of the jumbotron, or some of the things that these guys look at when they enter stadiums now. It's just old school football. You knew that you had to deal with the crowd. They're right on top. It's more of a vertical stadium, so crowd noise is going to be crazy. But it's just football. Two old school locker rooms that you had to deal with. I mean, that's what football is about. So that when it comes to that stadium, all I could think about is just old school football between good teams whenever they came in and played.
I don't like it, Taylor Field, man. I don't know how many times I walked into that stadium and got hit with a bag of Skittles, or people hit me with a beer can before. You had to leave your helmet on to walk out to the field. Like, that says a lot right there. That speaks volumes for what kind of, volatile environment you're walking in, where you better keep your helmet on when you're leaving out and you're walking in, because it's going to get rowdy out there. So that's one I heard.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because I wanted to know. Now, Darian, not so much for you, but Charleston, when you were a Stampeder, players say, "Oh, I tune everything out." When you're on the sidelines and someone is in your ear, you're hearing all of that, aren't you? Some of that's coming through, because some of the stuff's pretty funny, actually. And when guys are getting on you, it is pretty entertaining, right?
It makes it fun. I mean, you gotta enjoy those type of moments, especially as a player. Like, you won't get that kind of feel in really no sport. I don't know too many sports where you gonna walk into a stadium and the fans are that close where you can hear them. You barely can hear your coach trying to coach you up through a play, and it's a fan beacon behind you. And what I did, I used it as fuel, man. It fueled me to go back on the field and make a play, and then come back to the sideline and be listening for it. Like, come on, say something now. Like, I took it. I made efforts to go, let a fan beak at me just to get me riled up for, and then go out into the field and go like, okay, now what you gonna say?
It's funny, Darian, because I remember some of those games in Calgary when you guys would win on the road, and you'd go to the Rider fans in the stands, and there were a ton of them, and the high fiving, the shaking hands, and we all appreciated that. And I don't know, a little fun fact, I think it was that one of those playoff games. The reason why there's chain link fence at McMahon Stadium along the sides of the stands is because of Rider Stampeder games that were getting a little out of hand, and they didn't know what to do. So there's security and there's cops, but that was always much appreciated. And it's funny, a lot of us look back at that is one of the best times in the CFL. Nothing against the product today, but those are just some of the times that you remember. It's like wrestling 20 years ago. There was a lot of characters and personalities. And Darian, do you think, and we'll get to you, Charleston, if the league can get back to building characters and personalities, can we kind of get that wave going again of this is a fun league to be a part of from a fan's perspective?
Anything is possible. I just think it takes, players staying in one place. I mean, you look at Calgary, they had Nick Lewis, there was Brandon Smith, there was Charleston, there was Jawan. There's just so many guys that were there, and fans can buy jerseys. Fans could interact with you. They could, kind of take on your persona a little bit. But until we have guys staying in a place for more than 5 years, 6, 7 years, then I don't think so. But there's an opportunity.
Hey, Charleston, if we don't change something, Luke Wilson's going to be the most popular guy in the CFL, and he's never played a down of Canadian football. Uh-oh.
That's great. I mean, granted, he is doing an amazing job.
Oh, yeah.
Riling people up and getting media coverage on the CFL. And kudos off to he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And, like, if I was in competition, I would do the exact same thing. So I like that he's in the league doing that. But when it comes to just the understanding and the camaraderie of the locker room, that's the part that, you know, the guys are gonna get on him about, because you've never played with nobody on this field. You never been out here. You never even remotely touched the field. You played in the NFL, which is cool. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, that's where most guys want to be at, is the NFL. But when it comes to CFL ball, it's a different game. It's players that have been in this league that's, you know, shed blood, sweat, and tears, who've really given their all in their life to the CFL game. And I'm one of them, where it's like, man, I've given everything. Half my life was spent in Canada when you really think about it and put it all to paper. So you just want to see somebody with some relatability to that.
Yeah. Well, as someone who sits here who has the pleasure of speaking to both of you, as a fan, I love the era that you guys played in. That will always be my favorite era of the CFL. That's what the part that I get romantic about, where you smile or whatever. And so, like I said, so Stampeder Rider games of the 2000s-ish or whatever, back and forth, to me, those were like the Grey Cups, and they were in the regular season and the playoffs. It's Double Talk with Darian Durant and Charleston Hughes as a special guest this week for Campbell Safety Consulting right here on the Sports Cage. We're going to take a break. This is 620 CKRM.